All right, I think we can begin. Mm. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So, it's been a long time coming that we've been prepping for this open source masterclass slash workshop, actually, and I'm really glad that we're able to make it today, despite the odds. And we've got quite a few people, much better than the last one. The last one, we had like 3 people on there. God, I beg. And yeah, thank you all for making the time to be here. It shows that you are quite interested in this technology and you'd like to know more. And that's the first prerequisite for making things like this work. Emma Pizza, I'll be your presenter. Let's go. So, what's a DAO? You know, um, I'm going to be I have multiple slides ready, so I'm going to be jumping between multiple slides to explain the concepts to make it as easy as possible, generally. So, because this is a workshop actually, so pardon the discrepancies. So what's a DAO? You guys can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just give a thumbs up. Cool. Nice. All right, so a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. What does that mean? Well, in traditional organizations, for example, yeah, you have, let's check this out much better. In traditional organizations, the permissions that the organization has are granted by the state. So let's say you want to register a company in Nigeria, you need to register it with CAC, which is a public-owned company owned by the government. So they give the permissions on what you can do with that organization. The assets are custodied by the banks. So the money that you're going to use in that organization or business or whatever is controlled by the banks, which is also controlled by the state. And property rights like ownership, usage, compliance, all those things are enforced by police or other regulatory bodies. In terms of contractual agreements and ownership, governance, all those things are intermediated by lawyers. So you don't actually, you're not the one directly doing it. And any disputes are settled in courts, But with decentralized autonomous organizations, I'll henceforth be calling them DAOs, the permissions are not controlled by any single person, because it's run on the blockchain. And I'm going to move forward with the hopes that we all have a basic understanding of the blockchain and what it does and what it is. Otherwise, but just in case we don't, I'll just give a brief recap and summary of what a blockchain is. So a blockchain is a decentralized voting system, a ledger, basically. So let's say you have a bank, and every transaction that you make can be seen by everybody. Every transaction that comes in, every transaction that goes out can be seen by everybody. All the policies and organizational structure that the bank has and all the future moves it makes can be seen by everybody and is voted for by everybody. So the bank cannot make any rash decisions without all the bankers who are in there agreeing to it. Now have that sort of system, yeah, and then put it on code in such a way that every moment in time, the system records all the transactions made by the users, all the voting made by the entire chain, all the data. It compresses all of that in a block of time and saves it. Once it's saved, it can never be changed. Then it creates another block of time based on the amount of time that it takes to create the block, because every chain, depending on quite a few factors, their blockchain creation time / save time is different. Yeah. So that's a blockchain, and with being able to govern things, being able to, let me not go too far. Let's go back to DAOs. Yeah. So being able to build on top of a blockchain with a DAO makes it even, you can get way deeper in there. So you can actually build code which has all the required blocks that make up an organization. So you have where to get your permissions, you have where to store your assets, you have where the property rights are enforced, you have where the ownership and governance can be assigned, and you have where to settle the courts. In the DAO, instead of your permissions being granted by states, since it's on a blockchain and everybody owns it, it's permissionless, meaning everybody has it, it's not reliant on a single person. Your assets, instead of being kept in the bank, they're kept on crypto. It can, because DAOs run on blockchains, and blockchains are where you get cryptocurrency. So your assets are kept in crypto. It can be a DAO in Binance, a DAO in Bitcoin, a DAO in Ethereum, a DAO in Doge, a DAO using any blockchain, saving its assets in the crypto of that blockchain. Your property rights, since it's running on a blockchain, everything is tracked, everything is recorded, everything is transparent between everybody. Ownership and governance is written in the software, and disputes are settled by arbitration networks, which are basically networks that help with, give me a second, I'm switching slides. Network that help with settling disputes. So that's an intro to DAO, to a DAO, and what they are. They're basically a way for where are you? Yes, they're basically a decentralized autonomous organization. It is an organization written in code, which has all the different structures needed to run an organization. It can be a group, it can be a community, it can be a business, it can be a company dealing with specific products. But the fact is that you can now actually map software to code that does things that departments can do using incentives. So it's a community-led entity. The rules are managed by rules, like on a blockchain, you declare it, and it's created and managed using smart contracts. So normally you have a centralized network, like this would be a bank, this would be a blockchain. You can forget this one. All right. So I think I basically also explained the building blocks of a DAO. But give me a second. The coin I had on Solana just. All right, let's. Really? Okay, Solana is not working in Nigeria. Wonderful. We just found out. So just give me a second. I created an account on Solana to show you guys the building blocks of a DAO. But Solana seems to be down right now, and I don't know why. But such is life here. Okay. That's fine. So I've explained what a DAO is, how they work, and let's talk a bit about the benefits, because I'm sure that we can by the way we see it working now, where it is basically situated on a blockchain, saving assets in crypto, using smart contracts to decide rules and governance policies, and then using centralized voting for making decisions. We can see how that can be tailored to our use cases as tech communities, basically. You guys get, right? Because if you have a way to basically make it easy for tech communities to collaborate in a way that is flexible to them and is able to reward them with incentives in a way that you know, they can actually properly benefit from, because it'll benefit the entire chain. I feel it is something that if we can actually build, which we can, because DAOs are not new things, you know. DAOs have been around since crypto, but they never really took off, because I don't know if you all remember, there was Ethereum network had a hard fork. What that means is that when the Ethereum network came on, back in the day, yeah, in July 2016, the Ethereum network hard forked into two blockchains, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is now completely separate cryptocurrency with different technological and philosophical Well, that hard fork was because someone cracked and abused, someone abused the smart contract. They hacked it, basically. They hacked it and they made away with a huge chunk of Ethereum money. Millions, if I remember correctly. So an attacker exploited flaws in the smart contract code of the application running Ethereum called the DAO. And with that, they were able to make away with a lot of the money. But the Ethereum members, they came to a consensus that no, this cannot just happen like that. What we can do is that if everybody's okay with it, we can actually just rename the Ethereum and say that, okay, that they basically reset their block and went another way. I don't know what they feel there, because some people feel that, okay, the money is still here, that even though somebody has taken this amount, there's still money there and they remain. Other people, who were probably the ones that their money got taken, decided that no, they never agreed to this, so it must still be there and they should still be able to withdraw it. So this happened and it completely wrecked the DAO industry. People just left it, but it was a valid. They threw the baby out with the bathwater, basically. You know, it's still a technology that has been growing slowly. Actually, it's been growing slowly but steadily. Now you can actually have you have companies that make it easy for people to DAOs, just the same way you create like a GitHub repo. You have companies that allow you to basically design how you want it to be and create it for you, because um, we're moving from the space of Web 2 to Web 3. And a lot of times, decentralized finance, for example, has no, is difficult to manage. Think of it, if you were a startup, yeah, and you got funding for an app, let's say $60 million seed funding, and you're supposed to distribute that to all the different, you're supposed to manage that to make the company that you're basically CEO or founder of to be a success. And that is difficult. That is extremely hard. That's a very hard thing to do. But that can be a lot of the heavy lifting can be taken off of someone who uses something like a DAO, because you can actually just create all the little departments that you need in your company: finance, HR, create them all using smart contracts, so that, because I'm not saying that it's easy, you know, there are now ways to make there are now templates. So you don't have to create a smart contract from scratch. There are templates and there are people who have actually created them for you. So you can actually make use of what people have created and build on top of that for your own products. Let me give you guys an example. They're basically Ethereum apps. This is, yeah. So this is this is Chainlink, their developer hub, basically. And these guys, they already have pre-built basically businesses, all in smart contracts for you to basically make use of and fill in your own variables that you need. Let me get a good one. Let's go to real estate. That's heartbreaking. Okay, those guys are stressing us, and we're not gonna burn all our time there. Back here. So the benefits are tremendous, you know. As developer communities, we can make great use of it. Real world DAO examples. Yes. Mm. So here's one of my favorite real world examples as I went hunting for these guys. So these guys, yeah, they help you launch your DAO on a secure and modular tech stack. And basically, they create it's like React for JavaScript. It's a framework for creating DAOs. And here, this is what I really was trying to pin on. You don't need to know how to actually develop smart contracts. With the way that things are going, everybody is going to be able to code. That's just the truth, whether anyone likes it or not. So now the game is about like how do you leverage it to do things that make a big impact, you know, that that can shave large percentages of cost in terms of operating businesses. And things like smart contracts, for example, and DAOs, they basically turn your whole office building into software that is running on a computer. So that's the direction that things are going to go. And these guys now, they've created a framework that allows you to basically build that. But these are very, very cutting edge things. And it's not yet here. It's not yet here. So for our Africoders things, actually, we're going to use these guys. We're going to use these guys to create to create our DAO. Oh my gosh. I have to create a MetaMask wallet. From Done already. Cool. So we just created let's launch the DAO again. We just created a MetaMask account. Oh. Cool. So let's select a blockchain. Describe it how to define membership. Excellent. Africoders Masterclass DAO test logo test for our who can participate in governance, token holders, multi-signatory members. We'll go to token holders. Does a community have an ERC token? No. Mint your token. So you can mint your token in the creation process of the DAO, which then users can get. Can I describe the tokens? Percentage of tokens that vote yes in support of a proposal out of all tokens that have voted must be greater than this value for the proposal to pass. So as you're setting up, you can say, okay, all decisions, they should be greater than 50% of all the people to agree on it for it to pass. Or you can make it if 70% agree on something, then it should, for it to pass. Minimum participation, the percentage of tokens that participate in a proposal out of the total supply must be greater than or equal to this value for the proposal to pass. I think that's for it to even be considered as something that should be raised. It must be approved by at least 15%. Duration, the shortest period of time a proposal is open for voting. So like one great example that I was thinking about was on the way we chose the master classes, you know, how normally in WhatsApp we just go to the voting and then it's going to pick them. But then if it were a decentralized autonomous organization, if it were a DAO, you know, it's also that same sort of process where you vote on something that you want, that, okay, let's say as a community now, we wanted to clean up all the trash in, let's say, Lekki for like to show, say, we did do things to let the word be out, get the word out there, you know. We could basically create a DAO for that, and then actually like structure it down to, okay, um once this is done, then this money needs to go to the recycling factory to begin recycling the bottles. Once this is done, then people need to be paid to go pick up the bottles. You can, man, you can structure code down to real life organizational structure and execution, because it's by incentives, it's money. Last to make a decision, you need to pay somebody, if it's for a service. You get it. So let's continue. So minimum duration, the shortest period of time the proposal can be open for. So shortest period of time, 1 day. So you cannot like put you cannot you cannot put a 15 minute poll and get away with it, because everybody will see it. That's the whole point of the thing. And if nobody, and like if somebody sees it and it's clearly not something that they're interested in, they just will not buy the token. They will not be part of your chain, you know. So um where are we? Early execution. Allow a proposal to be executed before the voting period ends if the support threshold is surpassed, the minimum participation is met, and the outcome cannot be changed by more voters participating. Okay, so that means if like something got like maybe 90% of everyone being behind it, that the thing will be able to, like, this DAO would be able to execute it. Because that's the thing. Once you create it, yeah, you can no longer edit it. Or at least traditional DAOs, you can no longer edit them unless you recreate them. But then you just point to that same wallet, because all of it is it's transactions. They're smart contracts. So early execution, yes. Since we're testing it, let's just burn through this. Vote change. Allow voters to change their vote during the voting period. This setting can't be enabled if early execution is enabled. So allow people to be able to change their vote, yes or no. You can put it there. Proposal creation, who is allowed to raise a proposal, So it says members, only token holders with at least the minimum required balance or delegates minimum required voting power can create proposals. And the minimum requirement to create a proposal is 1. So if one person wanted to, let's say, have our next hangout, for example, in Lekki, then they could very much do so, since the required amount is just 1. That's next it. Oh boy. So after you've created everything, it takes you to basically the finishing screen, the deployment screen. So it lets me know that once you deploy it, the blockchain you're deploying it on, you can't change that. So we're deploying it on the Ethereum Sepolia testnet. These values are correct, yes. So the name of the DAO is Africoders Masterclass DAO Test 1. And the summary is basically a test DAO for Africoders Masterclass. Yeah, these can be changed, but with a vote. I'll call you right back. These can be changed with a vote. Yes. Voters, so who can vote? Eligible voters are people with tokens, and the token that people can get is Africoders Test DAO 1, ATDAO1. The supply is this, and it can be mintable. Distribution, see the address. Oh, yeah, that's the address. That's the wallet address, the Ethereum testnet address. Yeah, these values are correct. And voting parameters. So all these are changeable with a vote. The support threshold for something to be agreed upon is 70. The minimum participation is 15% of all the people in that have the tokens, basically. And the minimum duration that it can hold is 1 day. So yeah, that's cool. Deploy the DAO. Okay. Okay. Cool. You guys can't see this other screen, but there is network is terrible. It's loading. Okay. I don't have enough Sepolia ETH in my account to pay for transaction fees. So yes, but basically, yeah. So there isn't enough coin on here to actually create the smart contract. Sadly enough. Hold on. Let me see. Oh my goodness. So I'm using the testnet to deploy this actually. Let me show you guys something cool. So I'm using the testnet to deploy the smart contract here. And on the testnet, the screen for the site on the MetaMask, the screen for approving the transaction, it says that, okay, the cost of this smart contract to deploy it basically is this Sepolia ETH, that this amount of Ethereum, but this is the test network, so that's not bad. So I took that amount of Ethereum and I Google searched it to the Naira equivalent. And it turns out that that smart contract to deploy it is 4 million Naira. Delicious. But I digress. Let's come back. That is them managing it for you and creating it, managing it for us and creating it for us, basically. We don't need that. We can actually create these things and host them ourselves. Past you. Potential applications of DAOs for Africoders. I think I've touched on those a bit. Case studies or success studies. We touched on Ethereum and the hard fork, challenges and considerations for building a DAO in Africa. I believe we've touched on those, have we? No, but I'm wrapping up, guys. No, let's talk on this. So challenges and considerations for building a DAO in Africa. Well, let's not talk about Africa. Let's talk about Africoders. I think I was even supposed to put Africoders there. The main challenges that we'll face if we want to build a DAO for our tech community, I feel, is dedicated time. Because take, for example, this masterclass that we're holding, if we actually wanted to build something that could be profitable to all of us in like now and also long term, open source wise, that solves a problem, let's say, in the community. Well, it depends on the amount of people that are that dedicate time and work to it, especially in the beginning. Later on, people will begin coming to contribute when it starts gaining traction. But in the early stages, it needs to be those of us who can see it and are passionate for it. So major thing will be management and getting people just aware and making it in such a way that there are incentives that make it easy for people to adopt. Because like we should even be evangelizing the concept, because this is not something that is going to be abstract for long. This is something like AI was abstract. Nobody knew what to do with AI. You get nobody knew. Okay, like people heard about it, but until ChatGPT came and literally showed people that, hey, this is gonna replace your job, and like people themselves are even using it to 10x themselves. Until that came, people didn't really know how to use AI, didn't really get the concept. This is the same thing, because to be able to cut out the middle management of getting service to code, which is basically the administrative task performed by people. This is that solution. This bridges the gap. And it's only a matter of time before someone is able to create a proper working application that capitalizes on that and makes it so that anybody can, from the comfort of their home, when they start Shopify, the accounting, the management, the HR, the logistics, all the things that are required in a business have already been built into the smart contracts, So it's just for people to pay the money and all those things get built and all those things are running. And then you just plug it into your already existing infrastructure that you want to make use of. So challenges for us is basically we need to put mind and we need to let people know that this thing is coming. And then the best way to do that is to use it to solve solutions that we see, basically. So there are 7 of us on here. You guys should unmute your mic. Let's just small. Let's rub mine. Do you have any questions, first of all? And how do you see this being used in a way that that will make the most impact for us and be most effective in building the community and solving problems, you know. Y'all better not leave me here hanging. Thunder. Yeah, young fella, what's up? What's up? You there with Mike?
Hi, Peter. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. That was a very interesting and educating presentation.
Mm.
I actually learned a lot. I have been in crypto for a while, and at some point I left it for something else, and I never knew things have gone this far. I was aware back then that when Aragon was starting that they were building something like this,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only supporting Ethereum back then. I never knew that they support other networks now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw uh Polygon there, I saw Arbitrum. I don't know if I saw Solana.
Yes.
So
Solana has DApp apps now. They also work. They also support DAOs. In fact, majority right now, because I work with a lot of startups, and I basically help them architect their workload for cloud. And so I've noticed a trend actually. A lot of fintechs and decentralized finance apps or people in that vertical are actually low key coming in with this with DAOs that make it possible for people that have like cryptocurrency to own real life assets. You can actually tokenize objects. You can tokenize objects. People are doing crazy things out there, really.
yes, that's interesting, and especially looking at it from the point of an entrepreneur. Before crypto came up, um as an entrepreneur, if you wanted to start a business, you needed to go to the bank and get a loan or look for someone who can give you money. But crypto made it possible for anybody. If you have a great idea, you can uh, create your own token and then
Mm-hmm.
share your idea with maybe a community of people who might be interested in it. And if the idea is good and I think about it and looks something that is feasible, they can buy your token, which is actually worthless, and exchange it with real money and give you the money you
Yes.
need to build that your maybe next big thing idea. And after that, things evolved and DAOs came along. You know, DAOs help you take things to the next level, not just getting the money to build your next big thing,
But to actually also manage
but
it.
to actually have a way to manage it, and
Mm-hmm.
have a way to delegate things, and it's really, really a game changer. And I think, like you mentioned, like AI, it would soon catch up. It would soon catch
It's
up
just a matter of time because I'm looking,
with time.
AI is going to it accelerates everything. So it's just a matter of time before somebody merges the two, AI and DAOs, so that you don't need to write the code that's going to manage it. The AI will write the code for you. You can just speak with it, like type it, you just prompt it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and that's if Aragon, they are not actually working on that as we
They
speak.
will definitely be, but the thing is, we
We
also have these tools because
we Then one
open.
question I have, one of the major challenge in crypto is security. We've had even big projects getting hacked,
Yes.
and sometimes it leads to the end of those projects if they cannot get the money back or find some other way to get money to continue. So you talked about templates. That most of these DAO service companies, they have templates uh, that can help you kickstart things. How secure do you think those templates? Can you say something about that?
Well, if it is something that you're going to put money in, you obviously need to do your due diligence as a responsible internet citizen because, yeah, you can have reputable developers. Like if, let's say on Fiverr, there's somebody that offers smart contracts for starting, for managing your community. And once it is launched, once it is deployed, you can actually go through the code. Once a smart contract has been launched, then even the person that created it cannot edit it without everybody's consent because everything is transparent. It's built on a blockchain. So if there's malicious code there, it's going to be seen. But I guess that's where these security bodies will have to be because you can't if eventually smart contracts become able to be deployed by people who do not know code, like just a dentist that wants to own a flower shop, you know, you don't expect him to learn how to code in Rust to be able to
Right.
identify the vulnerability that was put in by the software developer. So I guess that's where those bodies are going to have to come in. And oftentimes, if it's in the open source context, open source communities have their own sections. Like the fact that so many people are looking at it and working on it makes it so that if there are any of those issues, they will be seen before they go. But other than that, there are independent bodies that cross check these things, especially if it's code that's going to be created to run large scale and big things. But seeing again, as we are talking on a phenomenon that's not yet arrived, but we see it coming. You know, the wave is coming. A lot of those things have not yet been put in place. You know, I'm guessing because the big Ethereum network's hard fork is the great indicator of this thing, and that's why the DAOs have been delayed for so long. But obviously, there have been the fact that all these different decentralized finance platforms have the option to create them shows that there are safeguards that have been put in place against people creating malevolent DAOs for large groups of people, which can be used later on against them. I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yes, yes, it does. I actually forgot that there are smart contract auditors that you can outsource the auditing to.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot. Okay, thank you very much. In fact, I'm actually considering. I want there's a business I wanted to start, but with what I'm hearing right now, I think I'm going to consider starting a DAO instead of a
Do
traditional
you
business.
see? Do you see? That's the spirit.
All right, that's
Mm.
all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, one last thing. Give me one idea of how you feel we can use this technology as a tech community to make an impact.
Oh well, one way I think that we can use these to make an impact is, like in short, let's consider in the tech community in Nigeria as a whole, that there are issues that exist among every community from time to time. I think one way that we can make an impact is once we are aware of these issues or any of these issues, we try to find a way to address it ourselves. Then, if we can do something about it, then we share with the wider community. I think it can make an impact.
Mm. Especially
But
with tools like
first
these.
of all, we need to have it down, so that when there is something that you've figured out, you can make a proposal. Say, oh, see, I think this is something that people will appreciate if there was a solution to it. A lot of people will look at it. If it's a good idea, they would vote for it to pass, and it will be implemented. And I think that could work.
Mm. Okay, I love that actually, and that it's. I'm glad that we're on the same page and we see it because it's just right there. It's actually glaring because open source is the next big wave. If you Linux is open source and Linux is the next. Like everything's running on Linux already.
Yes, everything, even the big tech companies, their core technologies are Linux.
Everything is. It's
Sell
crazy.
that to others. Are using free
That's
technology to
open
make money.
source. Yes. So we gotta see it, and it's just kind of here in Nigeria that everybody that we know um, is going into tech, but the profession of software engineers is actually still rare. It's just that they make noise and we know ourselves in the tech communities. So we get mouths, but we know plenty like that is what I'm trying to get at. So mhm. I lost that point. I'm trying to get you guys on here. So we should try to actually get a DAO organized on here. It'll make it so much easier for us to make an impact and actualize it. Thank you so much for making the time out, all of you. It's only young fella that said anything. Hello, my other peoples. What's happening? Hmm? How did you find the masterclass? I hope it was educational. Mm. Young fella, would you like to join the Africoders organization? Because we need to actually organize ourselves. We've got quite a few people, so far. I'm going to drop this in the upcoming messages, but I just want to gather us in one place so that as time goes on, because these master classes are an iterative something. If we can all keep with it, then as time goes on, we'll get there. We'll get there. The first step is to learn what it is. So we have an understanding of what a DAO is and what it can do and what the applications of it are with our tech community. So the next step is to begin having literal workshops where we look through code, organize ourselves, and find something to work on. So those are going to be iterative cycles of webinars and master classes. if it is still something that you guys are interested in as we go forward. I generally want to put it upon myself to have these every week because it forces me to actually learn these things and actually implement them, which I love doing. If you'd love to join us with those, please, you can drop your mail in the chat so that I can add you, guys to our GitHub organization so that as we go along and we create these things, we can all work together. You can just type it in the chat.
Okay. I'll be happy to be part of the community. I would drop my email in the chat much later.
All right. Give me a Sorry about that. I'm back. And all right, got that. All right, I've sent you an invite. All right. So I've sent you an invite, my bro. Kindly accept, and I will see you all. I did not get that right. That email was not complete. I just noticed that. Cancel this. I hope this is your GitHub email because otherwise it might bounce. But okay, I might ask you to create a new GitHub. Thank you all so much for coming. We're gonna end the session now. We're already 7 minutes over time, but I hope that you all learned something interesting. And please ask me questions. I feel that when everyone is silent, the topic hasn't really been understood. Or are you guys good? Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for your time. You guys were great. I hope you enjoyed the masterclass. All further onboarding details for the subsequent classes are going to be communicated via email so that we can organize ourselves and properly move. The next masterclass is actually a workshop. It's not a presentation. So the next one, we're actually going to create and delegate ourselves. After this, you're going to receive an email with a form so that you can fill and pick out what you would like to do. Are you better off with managing things? Are you better off with this? So that we can structure ourselves and start moving actually. Thank you so much for your time. You guys have a great one. If you missed anything and would like to see it, I'll be posting the video as well as the form on the platform later this evening. Later tomorrow. I'm going to bed now. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your night. Thank you.